Revenge doesn't always have to be pro or nuclear to be good. No, sometimes it can be petty, like you'll see in this episode of Petty Revenge. Our first one is from Tomo201070 titled, "Won't Change the Loo Roll, Sweet Wifey? Tomfoolery Shall Commence." This is a short and probably tasteless tale of a husband who just had enough. I'm not normally vindictive, and after 20 years of marriage and bringing up 3 gorgeous and independent kids, I had learned when to choose my battles. My poor wife, God bless her darling heart, has had to deal with sharing an en-suite bathroom with her ape of a husband. I'm 6 feet tall and 120 kilos of formerly gorgeous, so I've been often reminded by my ring bearer, muscle and sinew. Okay, I'm a fat bugger nowadays, but I am going to change this year. Hopefully. Whilst we share the bathroom, the vanity, the toilet, and the shower, the one thing my wife doesn't like to share is the loo roll changing responsibility. That, apparently, is all down to me. This was not something we agreed to previously. Not something we discussed like adults over a nice cup of tea. This has been solely decided upon by her. This lovely nurturer and predominant raiser of our children has honed the art of leaving one square to dab at her lady parts down to a fine art. I will stumble into our bathroom at 5 a.m. of a morning, thus beginning my morning ablutions before heading off to work, and lo and behold, there is one square on the roll. My body is already upset about stirring from that wonderfully comfortable bed and is now reaching evacuation status as it wants at that time. I now need to waste precious time bending over, please don't fart, to retrieve a fresh loo roll from inside the vanity. I try to keep a 3-roll minimum in there, ready to assist with the cleanup on aisle 5 after I've dropped the kids off at the pool. It's not fun, and after the umpteenth time of this happening, something just clicked in my head this morning. I've had enough. Why is it always me? Why can't she do it? When did she become the boss and I her lackey? Before anyone says anything, I know who's the boss in our house, and it's me, when she's not home. This morning I decided enough was enough. I left her one square where it was. I got a new loo roll out, cleaned up my unmentionable parts down under when I was finished, got up off the throne, washed my hands, and promptly placed the new roll, and the 2 remaining loo rolls from under the sink on top of the wall cabinet. My darling wife is 5'2" and cannot reach anywhere near the top of the wall unit. She also wakes up a lot later than I do. In fact, I'm normally just pulling into the office when she heads to the bathroom of the morning. This morning I received a lovely text just as I sat at my desk. I could tell she had put much thought into her response. I looked down and saw, "You wanker! Looks like I'll be making dinner tonight. Totally worth it." Edit 1. Yes, we're British, but living in Australia for the last 18 years. This also adds a certain amount of Russian roulette to my leaving the rolls on top of the wall unit. Snakes and spiders are commonplace out here in the country. Edit 2. The loo rolls are kept away and not handy next to the loo, purely for aesthetic. This is not my doing, and one of the former battles I was not destined to win. Edit 3. Blimey, thanks for all the awards, and I've had a good laugh reading through the comments. Seems I'm not alone out there. It's crazy that that's actually a job. I look at it like the last one to use it has to change it, but the way she's got it down to an art to leave some so she's not necessarily using the last bit is actually pretty clever. I like though the way you put it up so she couldn't reach it. Seems like you both will be doing your part, I think, going forward. This next one is by UISGE Ruthie titled, "Use all the gas in the tank? Well, I'll show you." This happened years ago when I was still a teenager. I had my first job after high school. The only drag was I had to share a car with my brother. I worked early morning, 7 a.m. to about 4 or 5, and my brother worked evenings and overnights, so the car sharing worked well except for one thing. My brother had the habit of using up all the gas in the car every single night. I would get ready for work and he would pull in quite often just about the time I needed to leave to get to work on time, jump out of the car and zip inside. I would get in only to find the car was running on fumes, so would stop and fill it on my way to work to make sure I made it. After weeks of this going on, I figured out the gas usage and the mileage to work and how much is needed to get there and back. So the next morning, I pulled into the station. The guy asked me, "Fill it, right?" As I was there every day, he recognized me. I replied, "Nope, just $2 today." So off I went to work and got home, and there was my brother tapping his foot as he wanted to go out with friends. I jumped out and beat it inside. No less than 30 seconds, and he comes storming in the door, demanding to know why there was no gas in the car, and didn't I put gas in it this morning? I told him I was tired of filling the car every day, and yes, I had put some in. Then he demanded to know how much. $2, I told him. Meanwhile, my dad was sitting at the kitchen table, listening, and asked me if I really only put $2 in. I told him I was tired of brother joyriding all the gas out every single night, so I only put what I needed in, and he could buy his own gas. My dad erupted in laughter when my brother sputtered about how he was going to get anywhere. Dad told him I had finally outmaneuvered him, and he better pull up his socks and learn from this lesson. I never got the car with fumes again. I mean, normally I would say if you share a car, go 50-50 on the gas, but considering he's the one that runs it all out, yeah, make him pull his fair share and make him put his gas in. I don't think he'll be running it all out. This next one is by Blue Koopa 52, titled "Kid Got Me in Trouble, so I ratted him out." So back in early elementary school, I was friends with the troublemaker kid, the one who literally went out of his way to break every rule. This kid framed me for something he did, and I never let that go. Now, one thing kids would do is take pencils and put the eraser end in the electric sharpener, and the teachers, obviously, didn't want that to happen, so it was against the rules. This kid, of course, did it in spite of the rules. So I got my master plan. I gave him a pencil with dinosaur designs on it and asked him to sharpen the wrong end. Of course, given the prospect of breaking the rule, he took the opportunity with sparkling eyes. So while the teacher wasn't looking, he started to sharpen off the eraser. Then I started to cry. I started bawling my eyes out, and the teacher turned around and saw the kid sharpening the wrong end of a pencil and me wailing like I was stabbed in the side. I told her, "Kid stole my favorite dinosaur pencil and ruined it." I didn't give a shit about the pencil. It was just one I found in a drawer at my house. The teacher chewed him out, and he had to call his parents. Kid never messed with me again. I'm not gonna lie, that's like brilliantly thought out, to just get the kid that's known to get in trouble for getting you in trouble. Absolutely perfect revenge, and so petty. This next one is from Sarah Samurai, titled "Revenge is Best Served Cold." Very cold. About 9 years ago, my husband and I got hooked up on a rental house that was a great price and bigger than we actually needed. It had 4 rooms, but we really only needed 2. We were mid-20s at the time and had just moved to the area where my husband went to high school. He reconnected with some old high school friends that were newly married and having some housing problems. Of course, we offered one of our spare rooms to them for the super low price of $300 a month. They used to be great friends in high school, so they're obviously still great people, right? By the second month, their rent was late, and I told them they had until the 15th to pay or leave. The 15th came and no money was paid, so I told them to pack their shit. They tried a sob story, but I wasn't hearing any of it. They didn't pack, but sat on the front porch for over an hour. A car showed up and I realized it was the local dealer. These assholes waited to buy an 8-ball on my porch, but couldn't pay rent. And then they left without taking their shit. So I found every remote they had, about 4, and superglued the backs on every one. I smiled to myself for months, imagining their batteries dying and them realizing they couldn't get the backs off to replace them. Fuck you, bad roommates. That's so petty but so perfect for the situation, and the fact that they can't pay rent but they can buy drugs says a lot about them. And our final one is by One Big Princess 98, titled "Ditching Me Once Will Cost You $90. I was reading another thread and I remembered this story. It was about 10 years ago and I did the online dating thing. I was texting with this good-looking woman, seemed to be hitting it off. We agreed to go on a date to a restaurant. Nothing fancy, but still nice. We were to meet at 7. I got there a bit before and grabbed our table. I sent a text to her saying I got the table. No response, but thought that maybe she was parking or on the way. 7:15, nothing. Sent another text. 7:30, nothing. 7:45, sent one last text saying I would wait until 8. Nothing. I left a little deflated and grabbed some fast food on my way home. At 12:30, I finally get a text from her. My friends made plans last second and I couldn't make it. Let's go out again, but go to fancy restaurant and you can treat me. The audacity of this woman. No shows without an apology, then expects me to treat her? I texted her back. That sounds great. I love that place. I go all the time. We set a date for the following night at 8. Since she knows it is a free night for her, I expect her to show up. I drove to the restaurant park so I can see the door. I see her show up right on time. I texted her, got stuck in traffic, will be a bit late. She replied, okay. I waited about 10 minutes, then texted again. Must be an accident. Traffic is super slow. We'll probably be there in 15 minutes. Can you order me a double McAllen 18? Neat. Will be a good night. I then drove away. I got a text at 8:45, 9, 9:15, then a barrage of texts at 9:30. My favorite was, you asshole! They made me pay $90 for your fucking drink. At midnight, I texted her back saying, my friends made plans last second and I couldn't make it. Let's go out again, but let's go to fancy restaurant number 2, and you can treat me. After I sent that, I blocked her. It was super satisfying. It just goes to show she clearly only cared about money and where you were taking her, because it's funny that she no-shows with the first place, but then the second place that she picks that's fancy, oh, she shows up to. I love how you slammed her with a $90 bill though. Serves her right. Alright, that's enough revenge for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Petty Revenge. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell. It really helps me out. And drop a comment down below. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.